If chapter 1, Jonah is running away from God, in chapter 2, it seems like Jonah runs into God by being swallowed by a fish. In chapter 3, he seems to kind of gently stroll, maybe run a little bit with God and bring in the message. In chapter 4, Jonah is trying to run God. Say, you did this wrong. You didn't do it the way I wanted you to. You did it your way, and God, that was the wrong way. I should just die, which seems a little bit melodramatic, but here we are. Interestingly, Jonah explains to God that God is gracious, and he is compassionate, and he is slow to anger, and he is abounding in love, and that he relents from sending calamity. Jonah explains to God, I know you're all these things, but why do you have to be those things right now? I like when you're those things for me, but not so much for them. Interestingly enough, that these exact descriptor words come up in other places in Scripture, and one is from about 30 years earlier in the prophet Joel, as he expresses that God is like that too, that he is gracious, compassionate, slow to anger. An interesting thing about slow to anger, and some of you learned this before, is that it's not a direct translation. The language doesn't work like that. It's actually like a visual word, where it basically says God has a really long nose, and it's kind of fantastic. Because sometimes we know the expression, your face gets hot when you get angry. Well, God's got such a long nose that's going to take forever for him to get his face hot. There's this beautiful picture of God being patient with us. And so Jonah is saying, this is who you are, God. This is who you are. And I wish I was dead. For many of us, the response would not be so dramatic when we see God work in a way that we don't maybe want him to. But sometimes it can still be just as negative. Sometimes we can see God do something as we've explored how is God working around us, and we go, I don't like that. I don't think that's the way God should be working. He shouldn't be saving those people. He shouldn't be blessing those people. I don't like this, God. Or maybe we just have a general discomfort with it at times, going, this is different than how I thought it should be, God. I don't really like that.